Hello guys and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about the BladeHawk's GMX7 gaming mouse. Now this mouse is arguably the cheapest gaming mouse you'll ever come by. It is $7 currently on Amazon. Now while price may vary because Amazon does change its prices over time, this mouse is still very affordable. I've seen it go for $4 to $7 to $10, so regardless of what price it is at when you're watching this video, it is still very affordable. When it comes to the unboxing experience, the box is quite simple. It's just a box. Inside the box you have the mouse, a manual, and a warranty card. Now the mouse does not have a detachable cable because it is wired, and it uses a braided USB cable, which is very nice to see, especially at this super low price point. This mouse comes with RGB and it comes with a super unique honeycomb design. Now I'm gonna be honest with you, I'll be the first one to say that the design is not my preferred because I don't really like how it looks. But for $7, you're still getting a super lightweight mouse at 60 grams. So if you're into that, then this mouse is probably something you should keep in mind, especially if you're on a low budget. Now the sensor they're using isn't actually listed on the Amazon store page. They just say it's like a super good optical sensor, just marketing terms that they're using. So I can't really say what exactly the sensor is. It has different DPI modes, there is no software, and it also has RGB. Now the RGB is diffused with this like acrylic diffuser type thing, which is nice because it makes it look softer and not as harsh, especially when you're using it. You don't want it to be too much of a distraction while playing video games or anything like that. So it's nice to see that it's not a super harsh RGB light. Now there are 4 DPI levels that you can choose from. When you click the middle button, the green light shows that it's 1000 DPI, the purple light is 1600 DPI, the blue light is 3200 DPI, and the red light is 6400 DPI. Now these modes are not changeable at all in any sort of software, and this is exactly what you get. You can't go any higher and you can't go any lower. So that is something to keep in mind if you were wanting something more in between those DPI settings. Now to change the lighting, you click the DPI button and the left button on your mouse. Now this is a very weird way of changing RGB modes, because if you don't do it at the exact same time, you might end up changing the DPI modes on accident. So I don't really like how they did that for the RGB modes. Now using this mouse is a little bit better than what I was expecting. The only problem I had right off the bat was the feet. The feet do feel scratchy whenever you're moving it left to right or up and down. I would recommend somehow trying to find feet for this mouse like replacements if you were actually planning to do that. Now the feet maybe even cost more than the actual mouse, but I do think it is a very worthy investment, especially because it'll feel a lot smoother. I don't think the stock feet that come on this mouse are that great, and I do think that it may be in your best interest to buy different ones. Now the honeycomb design is not my personal favorite. I don't really like how it feels on my hand, and I don't really like how light they are. But if you are into that, then this is obviously a good option. 60 grams is a little bit too light for me, and I felt that definitely when gaming, it was too light for me when I was moving or aiming. And I'm not the greatest CSGO player, but it still had a noticeable difference when playing those games. Now the sensor does not feel as smooth as something that you would find on a more expensive mouse. Now I've usually used the Razer Viper Ultimate, and that has a really good sensor. This one does feel a little bit slower. I wouldn't say it's super sluggish to the point that it's unusable, but you can definitely feel the difference if you're coming from a higher end gaming mouse. Now if you're coming from maybe a $30 gaming mouse or something like a Model O, I think the sensor is basically on par with a mouse like that, even though it only costs $7. Now the one thing I did want to talk about though as a big problem that might affect you guys is the fact that if I shook the mouse or I put the mouse down a little bit harder than I would normally do, something inside the mouse would rattle and it would make noise. I don't know if that's sort of a quality control issue where some mice have that problem and some don't, but it also could be a bad build quality. And you know, for $7, it's probably sort of expected, but it also is something to keep in mind. Another thing I wanted to quickly touch up on is the fact that the clicks of this mouse are pretty mushy. I wouldn't say they're super clicky or anything like that you would find on a higher end mouse, but They are mushy, but they're not delayed in any sense. They just won't feel as good as a more expensive mouse. Obviously, I don't really recommend you use this mouse for long-term usage. I think it's one of those mice you pick up because you're in a dire need of a mouse and you don't want to spend a lot of money considering you're waiting for a different mouse to come in stock or something like that. But I do think it is a very, very good mouse for the price that it's going at. You know, I was pleasantly surprised that this mouse was even usable at this price point. I was still able to play video games. I was still able to do everything else as normally. It obviously didn't feel as smooth as something like a Razer Viper Ultimate or a Super Light from Logitech. So, you know, it's obviously not going to be on par with those mice considering they're a lot more expensive. But for $7, you cannot go wrong. It's hard to complain when this mouse actually functions well, has multiple DPI modes, and has some RGB effects for those people that like it, all coming down at a price point as low as it is. Let me know what you guys think about this mouse in the comments down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.